person is saying is true, your confidence in dealing with that person increases dramatically. If you are a bank and you are going to give someone a loan and you know for sure the person lives where he or she stays, he or she lives, then you don't have the problems you are having. If you are a telecom operator and you are giving a postpaid line to someone and you are assured the person lives where he lives, you don't have a problem. All these issues we are having these days of everybody asking for a deposit, an arm and a leg deposit because they cannot find you, is a big problem for everybody. What we are doing is providing that second level of assurance to everybody. That when I, as a customer, go on the Ghana Post GPS platform and get my address, and I want my address verified, Vocacom is giving off that service where we come and verify your address. The verified address is premium data, because this time around, we are not just providing location, but we are providing more intelligence with the location. So when someone comes to you to do business with, and the person says, I live in GA 5857449, you contact us, and we say, indeed, Kojo lives in GA 5857449, and it's actually a house, and it's not some place on the Oti River. Now, by doing this, what we are helping businesses to do is what we are talking about now, which is not just to know where the person is, but to be assured that the information that you are getting is relevant and can lead to business success. But we are not just ending there. We are also about to launch a product that is supposed to help with navigation, because one of the key issues we are all having is navigating from point A to point B. At the beginning, Amelie mentioned that one of the key things about location intelligence is knowing how long it's going to take for you to move from one point to the other. When we woke up this morning, we were fairly certain that it would take us about 30 minutes to get here. So we were relaxed, trying to get ready. My wife and I were just, taking a poo. I was looking for the next trousers, which shoe will work, and on and on. And then I plugged on our new application that we are about to launch to check and estimate how long it was going to take for us to get here. I checked, and as at the time, because of traffic at Kanishi, it was going to take us 40 minutes. I checked the minutes later, and it was going to take us 45 minutes. Suddenly, I was putting more pressure. I don't want us to be late. Let's go, let's go, let's go. The ability to rightly estimate that time that will take saves me and everybody else the trouble of being late for a meeting and losing out on a deal that you normally would be getting, or arriving far too early for a program you should have arrived 45 minutes later for. Time is money. Having the right location intelligence, knowing there's traffic at Kanishi, knowing there's a problem at Odoko, knowing, for example, that maybe Ayawaso West Wagon wasn't as posh a place as we all thought it was, and that there were no hooligans there. Location intelligence. If Ayawaso West Wagon had been Nima, there would have been no presidential commission on it. But it was Ayawaso West Wagon, the poshest place in this country. Lack of location intelligence is what landed us in that place to begin with. Having the right insight always helps. And we are proud to say that Vocacom is working really hard to give everybody that location intelligence.
Thank you, Nana. Very, very insightful indeed. Mel Karthik, I'm going, we're going to move into the non-telco technology sector, which is more the financial services industry and the banks and the financial insurance companies. I do a lot of work for them, especially when it comes to the area of advanced analytics. And I know where they are most, especially in Africa. Most of them are still struggling with their internal data to do things around predicting customer lifetime value, predicting the macroeconomic variables. Now, you guys are now talking about LI. They are still struggling with their internal data. I can tell you 99% of the banks and insurance companies are still struggling with using their internal data for predicting things that would help them derive business value. Now we have brought in LI. How can this be used in the financial service industry? You can pick maybe a bank or insurance, whichever you prefer. I'll start with you, Mel. Yeah.
Process that most financial institutions go through, banks, insurance, is similar to what I shared in starting from even strategic planning, the planning perspective. If you take insurance companies, most of the activities, the risk that they want to insure are out of the business domain. Take flood, crime, even the segments, the different segments, housing. Where is housing today? Have we gone beyond the borders of Accra into another region? Being able to understand all that and quantify the potential risk is what insurance companies, for instance, want to do. So just like MTN, you'd want to have an external perspective. Where are the risks, depending on what risk you want to insure? Flood. You would not know flood-prone areas from the comfort of your desktop if you don't get location intelligence. So you can get layers of risk, which you can now use to analyze what premiums to charge. And permit me to take you back about 2 centuries to look at the different steps that most companies go through. Between 1840 and 1860 in London, there was an epidemic, the Black Death. It was an outbreak of cholera, and hundreds were dying. Now, the best medical practitioners of the time were called to get to the root cause. And they concluded that the deaths were from gases because there was so much stench from the deaths. And therefore, the remedy was to go around with facial mask around the nose. But the deaths prevailed. So one gentleman by name Dr. John Snow was called upon to try and unearth the issue, the problem. He had previously done some analysis on a correlation between water, contaminated water, and deaths, but nobody believed him. So when he was called, he took a map of London and he started to analyze the different clusters of the deaths. So he had broken London into grades. So he looked and tried to understand the correlation between different attributes and the deaths. And right in the middle of London, particularly in Piccadilly, Soho, he identified the largest cluster. So he decided to drill down, and there he saw a water pump. So to prove his case, he got the authorities to break the handle of the pump to stop people from drawing water. So that was done. And weeks, months went by, and they started seeing the trends go down. And that was how he became the father of epidemiology. That's how he was able to unearth the root cause. Now, why am I saying this? We go through the same processes in business, assumptions, and everybody else follows because one person has said the cause or reason is due to X factor, and everybody follows. But once we bring location intelligence into the business, and by location, I'm referring to the attributes that location offers. So in this instance, Dr. Snow was looking at all the attributes within the location, and that's where he was able to see the water pump. So there could have been a coincidence by the deaths stopping because something triggered, and everybody would have assumed that cholera is due to some gases. But because he used a form of location intelligence then, this was the simplest form, taking basic maps to now share and allow people to visualize the correlation over time. And as I mentioned previously, location intelligence has evolved from very basic desktop mapping into advanced AI, different descriptive, prescriptive analytics. So bringing it back into insurance, into banking, into all our institutions, it allows us to visualize what is actually happening on the ground. It helps us to understand relationships. So if, as an insurance company, I want to understand how many of my customers are in flood-prone areas, I would need a base layer, be it from Google Maps or a software application, be it these days we have a lot of them online, ArcGIS online and so on. We can have any of these layers by which we can plug in our internal data and be able to measure the impact on our business. So that is how the processes that we need to go through to be able to appreciate the importance of location intelligence. In this case, you're able to visualize and convince others. So if it's the CFO that you need to convince, they can see the relationships. If it's even to the customer, to even see why you're charging X premium, they get to understand the risk and why I need to charge you a certain amount. And even making you proactive as a business. So again, using the insurance example, if there's a flood and I fly a drone into potential flood areas, and I have all my clients who have given me their addresses, and I overlay over the flood, I could actually be proactive in calculating their claims before they even get to the office. So it's no longer about saying I pay claims in 24 hours when I have to come, and now you have to calculate what actually quantify the damage. But proactively, we can do most of these at our desk with combining artificial intelligence and location intelligence.
Thank you, Mel. Karthik, do you want to add to that? Still on the financial services industry.
It is the evolution of, the past to the present to the future. Going back to where I started, yeah? Traditional systems to artificial intelligence today, and everyone seems to have a artificial intelligence instance in what they are having. Like, for example, IBM has IBM Watson, which is their artificial intelligence instance or engine, which powers these kinds of insights. Now, coming down to a insurance example and trying to build upon what Mel spoke of, right? I mean, this Dr. John Snow, right? He was back in the 19th century. Let's kind of transport him to 2019, and what would he have done today? Let me give some real life examples of what the industry is doing and how things are getting evolved. And I'd like to give 2 or 3 examples to talk about this from the financial industry. The easiest example of artificial intelligence is probably this Apple Watch, and to the same Dr. John Snow example. Now, Dr. John Snow now has this Apple Watch. Now, the Apple Watch is a simple item. Now, it could be an Apple Watch, could be a Garmin watch, could be a Samsung watch, could be any of these so-called smart watches. This guy knows how much I'm sleeping, when I'm sleeping, what's my heart rate, what's my heart rate when I got up, what's my resting heart rate, what's my heart rate when I'm running at 9 kilometers an hour, what is it when I'm running at 12 kilometers an hour. It can also create an ECG report from this and send it to a bunch of doctors. And I'm not making this up, it's all there, right? Now, you imagine there could be entrepreneurs in this room who can actually build upon this, take this data and give it to insurance companies. And in this room, if there are 100 people, you actually can say, these people are green health, these people are orange health, and these people are red health. All these people in red health, they drink very little water. Their exercise levels are low because they are not burning calories as per whatever. Their sugar levels are also high. Their ECG reports are not in line. Right? So we need to charge them premiums of whatever value. And here are the green health guys. They are the Iron Mans of this particular room. They can run, they can swim, they can fly, they can do so many things. They are completely fit, and their demographics are completely there. And probably we've got an Iron Man here. Yeah. So this is a very simple example of cross-pollination between two industry sets, and there are lots of entrepreneurs who actually can take this up and create a business case for insurance. And technology companies like IBM are in a very good position to help this ecosystem and platform to be developed by providers to take this service to you. Let me give another example of the same industry. And this is again a financial services come retailer come healthcare example. I don't know how many people in the room have seen this app called Sweatcoin. Anybody who's into the walking business, who's walking around, should download Sweatcoin because it's very smart. What does Sweatcoin do? And it's available on iOS and Android, etc. What Sweatcoin does is, it creates, and this is a cryptocurrency example, yeah? It creates a currency of exchange. But this currency of exchange is in Sweatcoins, which means I use locational data on this app, and it kind of measures how much I walk throughout the day, right? Standard GPS functionality, somebody like Vocacom must be doing this for a living. But I now add the AI layer on top of this. Means what? What this does is, it converts my kilometers into Sweatcoins, which is a currency of exchange for this particular app. Then I can get into Sweatcoin and buy merchandise only by Sweatcoins. Not only that, I can sell Sweatcoins from my app to somebody else. So he can buy the same merchandise from the same site. So what am I trying to do here? I've created a platform of exchange. I've created a platform of exchange with something which is my brand, which is Sweatcoin. And there's a socio-economic angle to it in terms of healthcare. I can then marry this with insurance. I can marry this with fitness apps. I can marry this with gaming apps. I can marry this to so many other bankers who are in the room to banking transactions. And I can buy some very specific merchandise which some retailer wants to sell. So these are the kind of platforms which are evolving and technology is willing to support it. Third example.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm still coming back to you because you delve into around monetization a bit, and I'm going to probably take all of you on that. Before I come back to that, Nana, what's your perspective from the retail angle? Do you want to throw more light into how this can be used for the retail sector?
I think on that one, most people have salespeople who go out to sell products, especially retailers, even banks and all that. And I am very sure a lot of the executives here have heard that before, where the sales guys are unable to sell. You ask what happened, and they say, oh, it rained. You send someone somewhere in Draso or in Navrongo, and he says it rained. You have no location intelligence, so you just accept it. It has happened to all of us. Now, assuming we had a platform that was just showing you where the rains actually occurred on your computer screen every day. If you send salespeople out, Mr. Adu, and they are unable to sell, they cannot tell you the scratch card numbers are down 10% because it rained. Because they know you know it didn't rain there. This is one of the ways we monetize location information. The intelligence that we are gathering is what is feeding into these things. There is a new rule right now in Ghana about registering a business. Ghana is trying to be one of the best places to do business, and to do that, You need to register a business quickly, and you need a business operating permit quickly. Almost everybody here has almost had that problem, where you are doing your business, and next thing you know, some assembly people come and say, we are shutting it down, because you don't have a business operating permit. Yet, when you applied for a business operating permit, you kept going round and round and round, never knowing even where to do that application. That was all happening because we lacked that location intelligence. Now, proudly speaking, through the help of Vocacom and the digital address, we are supporting the Registrar General to work with the assemblies. So now what happens is when you try to register a business and you supply your digital address, the Registrar General, through the address, because now we know which district you are in, which region, automatically your business operating permit application goes straight to that assembly. The assembly then processes it and sends it back to RGD, who then issues you your business operating certificate with your permit already done, all in one go. This is how location intelligence is transforming lives. Now, the assemblies don't have to go around shutting people's businesses down because all those businesses have paid. So their internally generated funds are also going up. That gives you, the businessman, the peace of mind to also operate your business. So just by knowing which region, which district, just by having that digital address, suddenly, even the assemblies are making more money. Government is making more money. We are setting up businesses easily, and I'm making more money. So I'm very happy.
Thank you, Nana. I'm conscious of time because I still want to give the audience about 20 minutes for Q&A. So I'm probably going to try and, one thing that, in Africa we think oil is we have oil, but oil is not our future. Data is the global currency. Data is the oil of today. If you go to the US or in Europe, American Express actually have a separate company where they monetize data. So most of the retailers, because if you use Amex cards, they have so much information about you. They know where you are using those cards. And what they've done is actually set up a separate company into advanced analytics who actually give and provide those services to the big retailers. So they know so sometimes we just see something, an email, or you visit a site, they're already telling you what you might like. And you probably haven't bought anything from that particular online store. It is because companies like Amex or MasterCard, who have set up separate companies to look at your data, they're giving them this information on a real time. But the problem in Africa, including Ghana, we struggle to collaborate because no single company can provide this information. When it comes to LI data or BI data, you need collaboration. For us to start monetizing data, and I hope that the government people are here because you need people to work together. The companies are the government. What are your thoughts around collaboration and monetization, especially when let's talk about Ghana here. How can we push the data collaboration and monetization agenda forward? So this is the last question before we move to Q&A. Yeah. Mel, I will come back to you again. Yeah.
Right, so on monetization, I'll tweak the question a bit because sometimes when we talk monetization, immediately it sounds like one person taking advantage of the other. So I look at it from an applications perspective. The mission of MTN is to make the lives of our customers a whole lot brighter and believes everybody needs a connected life. Using the financial inclusion example, you realize that there are still people who are unbanked today, despite the rollout of mobile money. So if I take the mobile money ecosystem, from the merchants to the agents to customers who are those who need to perform a financial transaction, and I identify gaps. Again, I'll use the urban-rural divide and specifically go into women in rural who have a financial disadvantage. If it's that instance and we are looking at anonymized data of areas that lack financial support in terms of the infrastructure, I think partnerships such as those are meaningful, rather than looking at it from individual perspective where individual business take advantage of another business's data and monetize it on their own. So that's why I was looking at the applications. So you're right, it's about time we went into partnerships, but the partnerships should be sustainable. And I'm glad that out of the 17 SDGs, the 17th is on partnerships, because you're looking at poverty, you're looking at rural, urban, you're looking at climate change. All those factors are what we all seek to address. But sometimes we are carried away by the financial benefits. And that's why at the beginning I mentioned that combining location intelligence and business intelligence allows us not only to make the shareholder happy, but the customer also becomes happy. So any organization that is using location intelligence for the good of society is a force for good, and I see MTN as a force for good. So it's not about monetizing the data, but how do we use location intelligence to solve issues? And we cannot do it alone. We need some partnership. As I mentioned, the financial, there are others like crime. Where are the crime hotspots and what is happening? So if I identify mobile money frauds in hotspots and I'm working with the police to crack down on those areas, or if the insurance company is also sharing information on the anonymized level with police to be able to at least support in crime risk, I think it is the way to go in addressing some of our societal issues, rather than just looking at the individual benefits as an organization.
Thank you, Mel. Karthik, your views on that?
Time I'll try to
Yes,
keep
please,
it really sharp. And I'd like to give a technology spin on how do enterprises monetize this engine, monetize this beast. And here I would like to go into the how, that is the execution part of it. And my view would be that every enterprise should not look for a perfect answer, because technology is moving so fast. Trying to put all the pieces together may not be a great idea at this point in time. For lack of any other term, I'll use the quick and dirty approach. I think all enterprises should take a fast track approach, should create a roadmap for developing a platform or put their products and services onto a platform, and thirdly, get partners and ecosystems on that platform. Immaterial of whether he's a bank or he's a telco or he's a retail company, he has to look inclusive. To Mel's point, the SDG goal, keeping that in view. Start small, start quick, fail fast, don't invest too much time, don't invest too much money. But the principle should be create a roadmap and create a platform to embrace this. I think that would be a good starting point.
Thank you, Nana. I know you started something through Vocalcom, but there is a lot to be done. I'm not sure the data you have at the moment, you'll be able to achieve much that you can achieve through your company. What are your thoughts around partnership and monetization?
I think on monetization, I'll very quickly touch on three things that we need to be able to monetize all this data we are talking about. The starting point is the legislative framework. Right now, most companies are not sharing data with one another, mainly because the Data Protection Agency is always saying, the data that you are giving, is that the purpose for which it was collected? That has become the biggest problem we have in the country, where the regulatory framework is not in sync with the business agenda. That definitely has to be looked at. We need to be able to work with the Data Protection Agency to get better at this. When you look on the African map, outside of South Africa, Ghana is the most mapped nation on Africa. And when you see especially the Google Street View, I really love that product, But Google couldn't finish doing the work in Ghana because the Data Protection Agency stepped in and said, where's the data protection, whatever, and the whole thing just fell apart. We need to work on the framework. Number 2, we need the collaborative spirit. Collaboration is going to be the lifeblood of business going forward. No single business can survive on its own without working with other businesses. MTN is collecting tons of data about which websites I'm visiting, how I am making calls. Technically, they can tell over the weekend where I am and where I'm not. I have a bank who is collecting tons of data on me. They know how much money I have in my bank account, which day of the week I spend it the most, which day of the week my wife is taking the money out of the account. They know. I have an insurance company that knows what type of car I am driving and around which time of the year I am getting accidents. They can guess mostly around that time of the year is where we are probably having, because when you go and look, around the time of the year I'm getting most accidents is where the most money is getting drawn out of my bank account, which is where I am making the most calls, but not to my wife. Suddenly, you start to get a view of what the person is doing. That collaboration will help everybody make better and informed decisions. So that when my insurance company, for example, is planning, they can tell that by this time, I probably need to increase the next premium or allow more space for him because he'll be coming to collect. The last item that I want to bring on this one is how we all put all of this together. We need to work together to achieve all the objectives. Thank you.
Thank you, Nana. I think I need support at this stage. We can take a couple of questions, 3 or 4 questions.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Thompson. Interesting. But the first thing I would say, and forgive me, is the technical terms, some of them way higher than my head, right? And
apologies, yeah.
No problem. And it brought to mind a question. Anytime something new comes along, there's the question of adoption. We're talking about location intelligence, which essentially is technology. And if we really want to move forward, we need people to adopt it. You know, we always have a whole lot of laggards who come after the fact, right? So, and one thing that is obvious that we're talking about here is the language. People don't really get it. Then, a lot of talk of monetization. The people who get it want to get it here. Make a lot of money out of it because they're the ones that get it. Which also makes adoption also harder. So a big question I have for you is, how do we really drive adoption? Because the whole concept of collaboration, if I look at the cost and everything, I shy away. All right? So that's a big question I'll ask. Then, if I may just add, some people are running retail businesses. They're collecting information of their customers. Are there location intelligence apps that they can use readily in their businesses where they can just somehow, transfer the information into that app, and it lights up like a bulb and tells them a lot about their customers immediately and allows them really to take their business to the next level? I think a good example was given by one of you. I think, Amelie, you talked about crime. Many years ago, I wanted to travel to the UK, and being a Nigerian, I'm very security conscious. Femi understands what I'm talking about. So I went online, and I could see the hotspots of crime. I'm talking about almost 10 years ago, right? That's location intelligence. So how can we who are in business be able to upload our data into location intelligence apps? If you can advise on that as well, because this is how we can use it for ourselves without necessarily even having to collaborate. But I'm okay with collaboration. Thank you.
Okay, so Femi, I want to assist you a bit here. Please, the questions must be really brief so that we can have brief answers. Okay. So we get a lot more questions and make this, the partnership should work. So don't take all the questions, my brother. So I'll come here, then maybe Femi, I'll come back to you.
I think it's I really benefited from this discussion. Thank you to the panelists. My name is Sika Chum. I'm an executive coach and a corporate trainer for MTN as well as other companies. Without sounding gender biased, you've all done well, but I was particularly intrigued by the wealth of knowledge of Amele in this area. And I would like to ask you a question, a simple question. How does one get started from a business perspective? How does one get started with location intelligence?
Any other question before? We want to take all the questions before.
My name is Michael Samahizanti, IT manager for Gains Ghana. I've heard a lot of advantages of location intelligence. I want to know if there are any shortcomings or areas where potential hackers can take advantage of location-based services for bad things and stuff. Thank you.
Okay. One more question, please.
Yeah.
And,
so my name is Darlington. I run a couple of AI companies, Goodrind and Mino Health AI Labs. So my question is sort of directed to everyone up there and then myself. So it has to do with privacy and ownership of data. So you made the comment about legislative framework, saying as a purpose that you're using the data, is that what it was collected for? So I guess my question is, once you're talking about monetizing data, partnering with other people and selling it to them, is it ethical? Is it right? That's a huge issue to deal with. And then if we are talking about data ownership, if MTN collects my data, and then monetizes it, should they pay me for it? So if that's the case, Facebook does it, they are in a lot of issue, but then one way they get around it is that it's a free platform. Sorry, it's a free platform. Now MTN is different. I actually pay for the services. So if MTN is going to use my data and then monetize it, should I get paid for it? So, yeah.
I think we'll start from the first one, which is how do we drive adoption? And are these LI apps, are there LI applications that can be used by businesses? Karthik, Mel, any of you can?
I'll start with, I think, the first two. I'll combine the first two. Yeah. He spoke about us, from the beginning, I tried to demystify location intelligence and said, it's all about the attributes of location, bringing the attributes of location. So gender, from demographics, crime hotspots, as you rightly said, traffic flows, which Google uses, all those sets of information that we bring into the business. We are quite familiar with the day-to-day analysis that we do, the descriptive analysis. How many clients do I have? How much revenue are they bringing me? Where do I think revenue is going to come from? On a very simple level. Now, when I bring the external perspective into the internal, it gives me a third dimension, an external dimension of what is actually happening. So we are trying to say that let's not shoot in the dark. Let's be guided by the right information. And on the point of crime, about 15 years ago, about 2008, Ghana Police actually started something on crime analysis. I was part of that. And it was at a very simple level. We hadn't advanced then. So they used the very basic level of computer mapping using GIS tools, softwares, to look at population densities in relation to crime. At that time, I think it was more about the murder of women and other crime activities that was picking up in the country. And it was all to help them understand relationships, which they were able to now address the issue. And this was a very simple level. today, as I mentioned, we have evolved and tools have become more sophisticated, more platform-based. So in that same instance, you can actually use, if a policeman goes out today to pick crime information, you can use your smartphone to actually pick the coordinates. That is geospatial activity in action. So it's all about the points and the attributes that we pick. So rather than using paper to write at the police station, when you go to the crime scene, you pick with a smartphone. And yes, at the back end of Google Maps, there are APIs that allow you to sync the information. So you can just overlay that simple crime information onto the Google Maps. And you can create heat maps. This is a very simple way of doing it. And you can further share, because the whole idea of location intelligence is about sharing insights. And you can share that with communities for them to see what you're talking about in terms of crime hotspots. And this is information that can be made available to any institution. So when I talk anonymized, we are talking having a high-level view of most of the problems or the decisions that we make in our businesses. And to link it back to what Sika asked, starting a location intelligence is very simple. Location intelligence starts from my phone, as basic as that. That's the first point of having a device before I get into my laptop, before I get to big engines. So even on my laptop, if I'm running a delivery agency, a delivery business, I could just, every time I deliver something, pizza, I could pick the data. So location intelligence starts from the build-up of data. Once you've acquired that data, you now start to understand the patterns. And in understanding the patterns, you want to add some third-level information. So if it's for delivery, which areas are buying most of my pizza? How long do I have to go? Which days do they buy pizza? They buy pizza on Wednesday nights. And how long do I have to drive? And which location delivery companies can I work with? So in my work with delivery agencies, I can pass on a high-level view of where people mostly ask for pizza, and they could be at those vantage points. Immediately, there's a request, they know where to deliver to. That is what Uber does. They look at where the hotspots for demand for city rides are, and then where do people go to. So you realize that when you request for Uber, it just tells you most people are picking from this point. So maybe rather than stand in Kempinski, I might want to walk to Richchurch, stand there, and there are more Ubers close by. So on a very simple level, that is location intelligence in action. It might vary from what MTN does, looking at an 18 million database and trying to understand. It's not that simple. You need more skills in that area. You combine data science and all that. So it starts from building your database, and it's like deciding what car to buy. What do I need the car for? So it goes into your strategy on how you want to use location. That's how it starts. But it's at a very simple level, some of the things that we do. I think when technology starts, sometimes we try to hype it a bit, but it's happening in all the activities, all the things that we do.
Okay. Thank you, Mel. Let me just add to that before I come to Karthik. And it's around driving adoption. I'm of the view that there's actually any strategy. If you're a CEO, you're talking about your strategy without talking about all these things, yes, including LI. There is really no strategy now. So even when you see strategy consulting business, the likes of McKinsey, like of PwC, you cannot see a partner in strategy or a director in strategy who is not talking about technology now. Yeah. So we don't have strategists now who do not understand emerging technology or who do not understand LI. So there is no strategist that will come to your CEO and will not be talking technology or LI, even at the goal. So if you're setting your strategy for the year, you've got to start thinking about this. It's actually part of businesses going forward. To me, that is the easiest way. From the top, you adopt it. There is no way you can plan for the year without talking about all these things. Karthik, I'll come back to you.
All this sounds great. How does the market adopt these kind of services, right? There is a long cut and there's a shortcut. Even the shortcut is actually a bit long. It depends on what you say. In my view, I think the prime driver, like what Femi said, has to start from the top for driving adoption in a market. So I think the biggest responsibility lies with public sector, public utilities, government agencies to start with smart city initiatives to roll out next generation services into the market. Like, for example, right, automation of parkings, automation of, and connecting that automation to a payment platform, right? Creating a currency of exchange. Like, for example, police in many countries are saying that, we always go and reward, we always go and catch people who do something wrong, right? Why don't we reward people who do something right? So is there a currency of exchange which we can create? So on and so forth. So government plays a very important role in quickly disseminating adoption of services into the marketplace. Once that happens, the ecosystem starts rolling. And to people who are in the public sector business, I would say that this is a great initiative because every government segment I am speaking to in Middle East and Africa is having a smart city initiative of their own. That smart city initiative could be something related to knowledge, could be related to cyber cities, could be related to traffic management, wastewater management, could be parking slot management, could be anything. So I think that's my first way in which adoption can be.
Let me come to Nana on the areas of the privacy regulation and things like that. Do you want to respond to the ownership of data?
Technology items, if we leave it in the hands of, if we don't protect, let me say it like that, if we don't protect and ensure the integrity of the data, it will be compromised and it will not serve its purpose. So being technology, we need to be conscious of data security. And so a gentleman asked about hackers, that yes, it is good, but can hackers misuse the data? Yes, like all technology. In fact, like all things in the world, in the wrong hands can be devastating. Because if really and truly we have a location intelligence system in which, let's say, the meteorological department feed data into, that as businesses we have access to and can see, for example, that we are expecting heavy rains today, and somebody, a hacker, gets in and changes into sunshine, all the salespeople won't sell anything. And the boss will say, you are lying, there was no rain. Meanwhile, there was rain. So that is an issue that, like all data sources, must be protected and its integrity must be ensured. On the issue of how do we get there, I think one of the main problems we have in this country, and my business is also having that problem, is the lack of data scientists. All this data that we are collecting, how do we even understand it? We are talking about the retailers collecting location information, loads of data. But what do we do with it is the biggest problem. I think we need to, as all businesses, consciously invest in training the right people to understand how to use the data that we are collecting to be able to make informed decisions. The last item I wanted to touch on was the issue of ethics and regulation. Yes, right now the regulatory framework does not support it. But like Facebook and Google and all these other companies manage to do, we have been presented with an opportunity to work within. What we are asking for is that dialogue that is going to get it started. We need to do it. There's no point in saying, I've paid for this, and so even if we give it to, let's say, my bank, and my bank can necessarily improve my life because I am paying for the MTN service, do not share the data so that my bank will improve my life. For a customer, it's about improving lives and balancing that ratio between me having the convenience I am looking for versus ensuring that my privacy is protected. I think that balancing act is why we called for that regulatory conversation to be started, so we can share within it and share the ideas and move the whole conversation forward and change the regulation where we have to and enforce it where we have to, because we are all well aware that when Facebook made mistakes with it, there were massive problems. And so we shouldn't just take it for granted that let's just go and start sharing data, but we shouldn't also take it that we should never share the data. So let's have that conversation.
Thank you, Nana. I think we're going to try and close now. We don't have much time. So I'm going to give each of the panelists 30 seconds is just to wrap up, each of the session today.
Right. As we wrap up, I would just like us to remind ourselves and just behind a few videos on how MTN is leveraging location intelligence. It's very simple. We start off from the planning perspective, use location intelligence as a customer-centric tool, understanding the customer and offering the right services and products. Also, it allows operational efficiency because there's cross-functional collaboration, which allows us to take the right decisions. So in all, it starts on a very simple level, depending on what your strategy is and how you want to use location information in terms of the attributes. And I think as we continue the conversation, we can all achieve the force for good that location intelligence leverage. We can leverage on that. Thank you.
Karthik, over to you.
To summarize, I'll say that is that technology providers like IBM are completely ready to adopt, absorb the ecosystem, to help providers like the MTNs and several entrepreneurs and public sector consumers in this forum and in the marketplace. All we need to do is open up our mindset and take the first step towards this journey. I think that's the way I would summarize.
Nana?
One of the key things is Ghana, we are very fortunate to have a number of companies like my own, like Snowcode, like many others who are investing heavily in location intelligence platforms. And we are offering free business tools for companies. I think somebody raised that issue, for companies to support in location intelligence gathering and analysis. The tools that we offer are free of charge. We've given it to a number of companies and even the government. They are using it right now to support with SHS placements because we are having a lot of problems where students are getting missing. And I think for those of you who listen to Peace FM, so we are trying to solve the Yakobu computer problems by offering these tools to help businesses understand and appreciate the information and how the visualized version of it makes decision making easy. If you can see it, you can understand it. And that really is the essence of location intelligence. I will entreat each and every one of us to get in touch with Google, with a Snowcode, or with a Vocacom, and work with us to see the data. When you see it, you will marvel at the brilliance of your own data and how it can help you become more efficient and increase your profits.
Thank you, Nana. In conclusion, from my end, I call myself a disruption enthusiast. I believe so much in disruption, and I believe that LI is called to digital innovation. And just to point, in that direction, I actually employed probably the first role in Africa. I've got a director who joined me 3 weeks ago in my firm as the head of disruption. So this is real. Job roles are changing. So the jobs today and tomorrow would completely change. I can almost tell you, I talk about this all the time, the future of work. Half of you won't have the same job in the next 2 years. That's real. And this is part of the disruption. It's called to disrupting very, very at the heart of disrupting business models and strategy going forward. So we've got to buy into this and always believe that if you don't disrupt yourself, other people will disrupt you. So if you don't collaborate and disrupt yourselves as companies in Ghana, external companies will come in and disrupt your businesses. That's what I will give away from this. Thank you.
Once again for Femi and the discussants. So I was taking notes when the conversation was ongoing, and as a media person, I always think about how we can also use some of these things in the public services. And now from Ameli's initial submission, I know we can use LI for epidemiology and public health planning. So we get to know what's happening in locations and how we are going to work on them. You also talked about the insurance industry. So you apply a bit of bathymetric analysis and location intelligence, and insurance companies would know what premiums to place on people who live at Choco or people who live at East Legon, because whether they live in flood-prone areas and all those things. We could even use it for evangelism. Yeah. Did you know that there are 4,600 different brands of churches registered in Ghana? And assuming that each of them has 10 branches, we have 46,000 churches in Ghana. This is the minimalist. And so if I'm a pastor and I look at the data and I know that in that neighborhood, the boys, they are buying a lot of, say, alcoholic beverages, which as a pastor I believe is not good for them. They are doing this, they are being reported for assault and all that. I'll go and set shop there because I need to convert them and also make some good money from offertory. So there are lots of applications for LI, and please help me thank our discussants and our moderator once again. We have the MTN Wow moment coming up, but before that, we are going to have a presentation from MTN Ghana, and that will be done by the Senior Manager, Commercial Enablement, Estelle Jacqueline Asari.
Hello, good morning. So today I've been bamboozled by words that I didn't know was available. And just like you, I'm learning every day through spatial analysis and all that. Now, technology has really evolved. I met my husband on the phone, on the landline. Yes, I used to tap the call, you know. I don't know those who remember when our parents used to keep the phone in a box with a padlock. But we managed to scale through and call our friends, and now this is where we are. Today, most of us live online. I mean, without our data, we are basically disconnected. We have the withdrawal symptoms. We call the people that we are supposed to actually WhatsApp to say, is your data working? Mine has gone off, without forgetting that we can actually tell them what we are going to tell them on WhatsApp. Everything is now online. And MTN, with the application of location intelligence, has harnessed the data usage of our customers to make sure that we optimize the areas that have high traffic data usage into a more and faster experience with the introduction of 4G+. So with the expansion of our spectrum, we believe that everyone deserves the benefit of a connected world, but not just any connection. Our customers deserve the fastest possible connection. So it's my pleasure, therefore, to introduce today MTN's latest 4G+ service, MTN TurboNet.
Gives life to our businesses, our careers, our social lives, our health, entertainment, and so much more. The internet is how we keep up with the next person, the next business, the next technology, and the latest news. That is how we connect. We cannot afford to be disconnected. In a disconnected world, we lose time, relationships, money, and connections to the people who matter the most to us. Simply put, the internet is now the center of our lives.
So when it comes to connections, you need the best. You need internet that shows up at the fastest speed and does exactly what you need, when you need it, where you need it, and is easy in your pocket. It needs to be affordable, available, and super fast. What you need is MTN TurboNet on Ghana's fastest 4G Plus network, MTN. What is MTN TurboNet? A super high-speed internet router with a special SIM and antenna that brings you the best internet service quality and speed. To get started today, purchase a TurboNet router at 300 Ghana cedis, register your special TurboNet SIM, plug in your TurboNet router, and you're good to go. The best part? You can connect up to 32 people to the same device, perfect for home and office use. Also, the data packages for TurboNet are super discounted, so you enjoy more for less. Buying data onto your router has never been easier. MTN TurboNet connects your MTN mobile number to your device, so you can manage your router remotely from your phone. Yes, simply dial *5057#, or just dial *170# to pay with your MTN Momo under the Fixed Broadband tab. It's that easy. No MTN number? No problem. Log on to fiberbroadband.mtn.com.gh or download the router management app to recharge. You deserve the best internet service possible, and that's why we did it for you. Welcome to the speed of yellow with MTN TurboNet. Welcome to MTN 4G Plus.
So thank you. We're proud to introduce you MTN TurboNet. The ladies, the ushers are here with samples. We have a table outside, sales stand. You can purchase a TurboNet router today. It can connect up to 32 users, perfect for your home and office use. It is on MTN 4G Plus, so the speed is 1,000% assured. You are going to enjoy the experience. And you can also buy this at any other day at MTN service centers, regional head offices across the country. The service is on MTN 4G and 4G Plus, so kindly take note when purchasing. Thank you for your attention and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Estelle, for introducing TurboNet to us. So yesterday at 5:47 a.m., I just wrote TurboNet on Facebook. Just like that, 5:47 a.m. You may be wondering what I was doing at 5:47 a.m. I was uploading a lot of files, and I needed to leave the house to get to the office by 6:15, so I would go on radio. So I really needed fast internet. So I just connected the thing and upload. 5 minutes was done. And I was so happy I just wrote TurboNet on Facebook. And these are some of the responses I got. Kwame says upon, and to verify, I can go to my Facebook or Kojo Boating. Kwame says upon, wicked speed. That was the first comment. Then Richard Toku says the speed is like Usain Bolt. Second comment. Lion Ampabin wrote, Tebo Ankasa. And Kojo Mensa Gavu, the best by far. That's what 4G Plus means. So you don't need anybody anywhere to tell you that TurboNet is what you need. You need to get it. I use it and I can vouch for it anytime. It's internet with a correct Range Rover engine, not a Ferrari with a Tico engine. Always remember that. Always remember that. Now it's time for the MTN Wow moment. What we are going to give out today, basically, those who came earlier, we gave you special executive notebooks. Now for the Wow moment, we are going to give out one iPhone. We also have 2 TurboNets to be giving out and 5 MiFis. So the ladies are coming with some balloons. Those who will get the iPhone and the TurboNet, they would have to pop those balloons to get them. And they're also holding the MiFis. Now what we are going to do is that we have a system that will select names. So when your name is picked, you get a chance to win something. Now the first 5 names will get the MiFis, and the last 3 names will get either a TurboNet or a phone. So are you ready for this? Are you ready? I will call on Mr. Noel Ganson, the CMO, to help us pick the names. Since he's not been paying much for his haircut because God is his barber, I just feel he should help us pick the names. So Noel, you go to the back. There's a computer. You go to the back. You see they are waving at you. And all your names and contacts have been entered into the computer. So you will just click and the algorithm will select a name. The first 5 names will take home MiFis, which have been loaded with data. And then the last 3 will get a chance to win a phone or 2 turbo nets. Are you ready? Mr. Ganson, are you ready? Let's see what the first name is. The first name, ladies and gentlemen, is Sika Nketia Jennifer. Is Sika here? Ah, Sika is here. Eric, if you don't mind, please present 1 MiFi to Sika for me. Eric Insako is the executive S&D. Please put your hands together for him. Sika, this is preloaded with data. So once you log into Facebook, just write TurboNet2. Don't use the data alone. Share with your family and friends. Now, Noah, what's the second name? Amanda Amanfo. Amanda Amanfo. Is Amanda here? Amanda is also here. Eric, I'll call you back again, please. Present 3 for me before you finally take your seat. Amanda has also won a MiFi device preloaded with data. Congratulations, Amanda. Isn't it ironic that the man who doesn't have hair is choosing people who have a lot of hair? Let's go on, Noel. Now the next name is Kayumba Michael. Kayumba Michael. Is Michael here? You've won a MiFi device from MTN. And this one you can share. So when you go home, just call your family and friends. Charlie, today let's have a browsing party with MTN. And then you share your experiences, how fast the data is and how convenient it is. Thank you very much, Eric. You may take your seat now. Noel, 2 more to go for the MiFi device. AgriFin McLean. McLean AgriFin. Is McLean here? McLean is not here, so we'll pick another name. Kojo Asilenu. Kojo Asilenu. Kojo is here. Put your hands together for him. Mr. Cranting, kindly assist me to present this one, please. Congratulations, Kojo. And the final one for the MiFis, Apia Kubi Perry. Perry Apia Kubi. Perry is here. Put your hands together for him. Mr. Cranton, you'd have to present one more. Sorry, I should have made you wait. Forgive me. Perry wanted to ask a question earlier. He didn't get a chance to. So he's won a MiFi device. See how the world works. This is location intelligence, identifying the people who couldn't ask questions. Congratulations, Perry. And thank you very much, Mr. Cranting. I'd like Estelle to pick the next 3 winners. Since she made the presentation on the TurboNet, I feel she should pick the next 3 winners. Now, what will happen is that when the name is picked, the person will come up here and try his or her luck, whether to win a TurboNet or the iPhone. So Estelle will start with the first one. Benjamin Ajasi. Benjamin Ajasi. Ajachi. Benjamin is here. Please come forward, Benjamin. See these lovely yellow balloons? You are going to give you a pin. Choose your fighter or choose your choice. Now, let me see what you want. Benjamin has won a special handset, and I would like Mr. Samado to make the next 3 presentations. This is because someone from his department kept bugging me about TurboNet, and within 30 minutes he got me to buy 3, 1 for the office, 1 for the house, and 1 for my friend. So I'll let him present the next 3. Sam is the boss at the EBD department. Now, Benjamin, you won an iPhone 8 Plus. Put your hands together for Benjamin. iPhone 8 Plus. Congrats, Ben. Sam, please remain. Estelle, what's the next name? So Benjamin works at Fidelity Bank. Ben, you know that bankers, you need very fast internet, right? And you need a consistent mobile service, right? And Fidelity employs about 1,700 people, right? Yeah, I know 1,000 of them use MTN. Get the 700 to also get on MTN. And then we'll give you data for life. How about that? I'll tell your boss that you've promised to get him on, and all the other people on MTN. So the next name is Kofi A. Otabil. Kofi A. Otabil. Is Otabil here? Otabil is here. I don't know whether to let Otabil do that thing or I should just give it straight away to him, because we have 2 TurboNets remaining. But you never know the surprises MTN has in these things. So Kofi, please come and take the toothpick and see whether there's another surprise in there aside the TurboNet. Okay, so Otabil has won something special aside the TurboNet. That something special is the short code for the TurboNet, *5057. Yeah, I'm mentioning it because if you buy data on that short code, it's cheaper than the regular data. Noel, is that not so? So you've won a TurboNet and you are getting subsidized data when you dial *5057. You should remember this like your wife's birthday. Yeah, put your hands together for Benjamin. Kofi. So the USSD code is *5057. When you dial, you can check whether there are 4G services in your location, and you can also buy data and also do whatever transaction you want when it comes to 4G Plus and TurboNet. The last name, Estelle, I know the person who is winning this. Cillian Walsh, or is it Killian Walsh? If you are Irish, you have a way of pronouncing it, and if you are Ghanaian, you say Cillian. So it's Cillian Walsh or Killian Walsh. Please put your hands together for Killian. He's won a TurboNet device. He's not here. I interviewed him 2 weeks ago. So he produces made in Ghana coffee called the Gold Coast Roasters. He would need LI to identify those of us who love our made in Ghana coffee to locate us, but he's not here. So we'll move on to the next person. Maud Rabiu from Sterling Plus. Alaji. Please put your hands together once again for him. I like his hat. If you put a GPS device on it, it amplifies the internet connectivity. Alaji has also won an MTN TurboNet device, and Sam is going to present it to Alaji. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Sam. If you run a business, if you're at home, you want to watch your Netflix, your YouTube, if you want to watch your games online, whatever you need. For me, I use the TurboNet, and I trust that it will serve your needs. So get the MTN TurboNet. You go outside, there are a lot of them there. If you want to buy 1,000 pieces, we can deliver to your home today. Just send your Ghana Post GPS and we deliver it to you. Get the MTN TurboNet, get 4G plus internet, and stay connected to the wonderful yellow world of opportunities powered by Ghana's #1 telco, and indeed Ghana's #1 business, MTN, everywhere you go. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Kojo Akoto Boating of City FM. Keep using MTN, keep the conversations going, and keep sharing your ideas, because together we partner to build a better Ghana powered by MTN. Enjoy the rest of the morning. God bless you.
Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I'm in the mood. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday on MTN. Keep using your MTN number all week and get the coolest discounts on your shopping, airtime, and other amazing rewards every Friday. You know saving day for you. In today's world, the internet runs everything. It gives life to our businesses, our careers, our social lives, our health, entertainment, and so much more. The internet is how we keep up with the next person, the next business, the next technology, and the latest news. That is how we connect. We cannot afford to be disconnected. In a disconnected world, we lose time, relationships, money, and connections to the people who matter the most to us. Simply put, the internet is now the center of our lives. So when it comes to connections, you need the best. You need internet that shows up at the fastest speed and does exactly what you need, when you need it, where you need it, and is easy in your pocket. It needs to be affordable, available, and super fast. What you need is MTN TurboNet on Ghana's fastest 4G Plus network, MTN. What is MTN TurboNet? A super high-speed internet router with a special SIM and antenna that brings you the best internet service quality and speed. To get started today, purchase a TurboNet router at 300 Ghana cedis, register your special TurboNet SIM, plug in your TurboNet router, and you're good to go. The best part? You can connect up to 32 people to the same device, perfect for home and office use. Also, the data packages for TurboNet are super discounted, so you enjoy more for less. Buying data onto your router has never been easier. MTN TurboNet connects your MTN mobile number to your device, so you can manage your router remotely from your phone. Yes, simply dial *5057#, or just dial *170# to pay with your MTN Momo under the Fixed Broadband tab. It's that easy. No MTN number? No problem. Log on to fiberbroadband.mtn.com.gh or download the Router Management app to recharge. You deserve the best internet service possible, and that's why we did it for you. Welcome to the speed of yellow with MTN TurboNet. Welcome to MTN 4G Plus.